Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my precious pack, and welcome back once more to VEGA Conflict. Today, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Vestige event because it's coming to a close. I'm not going to talk about the new carrier in this video. I'll actually make a video for it later today after I can pull my ship back out from the factory once again. I was playtesting it a bit and I decided to completely fit it, and I was going to show it off. But for now, I'm going to talk about the event, the targets I've been hitting, with which ships, and just how easy they are and how low the repair time is, and a few other things like that. First off, let's take a quick look at the prize list. As always, the prize list is cram-packed with just about everything you can imagine, from the ships, the weapons, which are mostly reusable items for carriers, well, all reusable items for carriers, because apparently they don't have blueprints anymore, because who knows how to reverse engineer in the future? Apparently no human does. They've lost that ability. So they have to rely on hand-me-downs, because they're too stupid to understand how to replicate something and steal the plans for themselves. So they have to rely on building reusable fragment garbage. The buff for the Pharmacon, weapons, armor, shells, shields, weapons, and resistors, specials, and just more stuff like that, and more weapons and stuff for the bases, and the prize boxes. Before I recommend anything, for anybody, regardless of what level you are, pick up the gold prize boxes fairly quick-like. And I don't mean before you pick anything else up. Make sure you pick them all up because of what they drop now, since they changed them. You see what I see? I'm not blind, I'm not crazy. Make sure you pick them up. I got more ships out of the box this time around than I did specials or weapons or anything like that, but I don't mind additional cannon fodder. It can be useful for various builds later down the line. Credits, as always, match them to whatever you're building. Okay, back up to the main thing. Recommended that you pick up a gargoyle carrier, well, the blueprint, 2 hammer missiles, 3 cyclotron beams, and if you get lucky out of the box, the gold box, use a harmonic chase thruster 3 credit on your ship. That is the initial generous build that I went with because of the built-in defense, which I think everyone's going to get a kick out of. If you haven't already seen a few of the other videos that are floating around here on YouTube. Other than that, the prize list is essentially null and void because I don't have any other recommendations. Because again, I don't like recommending reusable items for anything other than what you're going to be using right away. So I can't recommend more of them or anything like that. I can recommend picking up the phase drain buffer though, because it will allow you to remain in phase longer. Because what's more dangerous than a ship that just wiped out half your fleet? Well, the fact that the other half is now burning and you have to wait even longer for it to come out of phase, because it's just going to hide from you. I do apologize about the stops, but it's extremely late, I'm extremely tired, and I'm going to take care of this before I go to sleep, so there's actually something to be released today, instead of going another week with next to nothing. Next, after you pick up everything else, pick up the Trojan, the Daemon, the Sovereign, and the Renaissance. It just barely gets on that list. Other than that, the weapons are always straightforward, depending on which one you pick up. Pick up level 1, level 3, then level 2 last, so you have the lowest and the highest, so you can mix your fittings depending on what you want. I think that's about it. Well, the node armor as well. Node armor 1, 2, and shockwave screen 1 and 3, then level 2. And basically you get the general idea. Pick up the lowest, and then the highest, and then the middle every single time. Because that's basically what I recommend every single time. Other than the gold prize boxes, I did pick up the silver ones, and again, they had an extremely high drop chance for the ships because I got an extremely large number of them, but next to no weapons and next to no specials. And finally, resources, well, you already know what to do with that, so I shouldn't have to recommend it. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at one of the targets. The target that I'm going to recommend is going to be an Altarian platoon. And the recommended vessel that I'm going to recommend you use is naturally going to be the Behemoth and a Wraith. What fitting do the two ships have that I've been showing off so often? Extremely lightweight fitting, surprisingly. And again, an extremely lightweight fitting. Now, let's go pick on one of the level 110 platoon fleets. I'll bring you all back once I'm in the attack. Welcome back and welcome to the attack. And the attack is actually straightforward. Line the Wraiths up behind the Behemoth. Target the bottom of the two cutters. And just do exactly what I do, and you'll have under 20 minutes repair time per attack. And don't turn the ship out until after you get the Wraith right here within the firing arc, so you can destroy it at the same time you begin to turn. So it's not going to be a problem creeping in behind you. And the entire time, you're going to maintain the rotation, and you're going to slowly turn your ship so you're still accelerating. But you're also bringing your firing arcs to bear on the targets as they slip in, so you bring the full firepower of your Behemoth onto them. And you don't have to worry about that Wraith because you're going to be using a maxed out Fleet Commander Victoria, so it's going to have high health, well, higher health than it should under the ablative armor. Now, for the Behemoth, it's got 200,000 hit points, so it doesn't really matter whether it gets hit or not. An additional 12,000 hit points isn't going to make much of a difference. And that's all there is to that attack. I'm going to go ahead and give my closing thoughts on the event. First, the points payout for the low-level targets should be increased, as it always should. And now with the minimum 10% enforcement rule in place, it would be an even more and a more impressive time frame if they could do so before the next event or before the next number of events, so immobilization, decimation, things like that, if they would actually bump up the intel payout, because they did weed out low-level fleets from being able to farm targets. If they can't do 10% of the damage, they get nothing. So buff the intel payout for each of the targets to be respectable for the amount of damage the player is taking. So it will make advancement into the newer faction a little bit more easy, without having to take some absurd amount of repair time for points that just weren't worth it. And now let's go ahead and let's take a look at the repair time. 19 minutes. So you can get 10 minutes off easily just by separating the ships. And that's about it. I don't have many other thoughts on the Vestige event other than to buff the payout of low-level target fleets for lower-level players to actually be able to advance a little bit more quickly. Well, mid-level players, they're making the change from Axis to Altarian, Pharmacon, or Umbra. It just depends on what they're going for. But again, buff the low-level payouts because with the minimum enforcement, you've effectively made it so insta-fleets can no longer take them out. Unless it's an insta-fleet and someone's using Victoria, because then, under certain circumstances, I could see them doing 10% of the health of lower-level targets. But that also means that they're most likely a high-level player because they have Victoria and most likely maxed out. But the event's targets, the recommended target was the platoon, for the reason that it's extremely simple and straightforward in terms of combat. As you saw, it was just a matter of targeting one ship, and letting the AI take care of the rest while you just slowly spun the behemoth around. Now, for that fight, you can drop the race, and you can increase the rate at which the behemoth will accelerate and its top speed by doing so. And the goal of that will simply be to achieve the target, well, reach the target sooner, so you can bring the ship to bear on the next set of targets just a little bit more quickly. But that's going to be it. I hope this video helps everyone. I hope the recommendations don't sound too bad, but I mean, dead tired right now, so just want to get something out. There will be another video later discussing and talking about the carrier as well as showcasing it, because I want to more or less play around with it. It's not going to be the end fitting, because I have 3 fittings in mind that I want to test the 2 others just to see how they fare. But until then, that's going to be it, everybody. If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like. If you have anything to ask, possible fittings or anything like that, feel free to ask below in the comment section. If you want to see more videos like this, most definitely hit that like button. Let me know that this is welcomed and wanted again. I'll be releasing more target videos, hopefully later today after I've gotten some sleep before the event ends, showcasing the various targets and what you can do with the behemoth. Because again, I did show how to farm it. The next thing I need to do is show more or less how to take out low-level targets with lower-level ships, so you can get the Sovereign Carrier and the Cyclotron so you can farm the behemoth and other ships. But that's it, everybody. Be safe out there in the void, and as always, I'll see you later.